Yo guys, what is going on? Got a yellow hybrid deck profile for you guys. I kind of wanted to mess around with a control deck that wasn't necessarily set control, just in case someone else wanted to play a deck that's just not a straight OTK deck in this format. Or maybe you're not a fan of Hydramon or Examon. But anyways, so I'm bringing back Yellow Hybrid. I still think it's really solid, even with Jet Sylphie at 1 and even with Sunrise Buster at 1. So guys, let's go ahead and talk about what makes this deck so formidable. So Digi-Egg's pretty standard, just going to be playing the 4 copies of Upamon. You're not playing a lot of yellow level 3s in this deck, so I think 4 Egg is fine. Upamon is just generally the best one. But you could possibly play Viximon. I don't think you'll really get too many draws off of it. For the rookies, 4 dogs and 2 whatever Patamon is. So 4 copies of Salamon just to recover. Really, really good. We've seen this in Set Control. We've seen this in Yellow Hybrid before. So nothing too special here, just to recover. And then 2 copies of Patamon just as a really good inherited to have when you Digivolve. Because of course I am playing the 3 copies of Rapidmon. I think 3 is enough, especially with all the 1-stack decks going around. I don't think you necessarily need to see multiples of these like early on. 3 is fine, you can grab it off TK. You typically only want to evolve it on the Patamon. Of course, Salamon is fine, but early game, but you want to usually leave these to recover with, so hence why I think like having 1 to 2 of these for your rookies is enough. And Rapidmon just being able to clear boards, negging 5k on your opponent's whole board sometimes, and just being able to suspend many things, being able to attack over, and then Patamon giving you that extra memory to work with so you don't pass turn, because he does evolve for 4 on top of these rookies. So that's as far as the level 3s and 4s go, as far as the not hybrids. And then of course you already know the drill. The two super prominent hybrids. We've got 4 copies of Kazemon and then the 4 copies of Zephyrmon. I think these girls need no introduction at this point. Just basically the only yellow hybrids, you're going to be maxing out on them. So Kazemon just the vanilla, but then Zephyrmon being able to boost your security or possibly evolve on top of a Kaze or herself to get you like an extra draw or something, or to trigger that plus 3,000 security. And that plus 3,000 does come up a lot. A lot of times when you're playing this deck, you tend to forget, but this in combination with Zoe makes like a Kazemon 11,000 in security, so it can kill your opponent's level 5s if they're swinging with those, or possibly being able to out like a big 1-stack, being able to force like the Metal Garurumon detach to Save by Battle, things like that is actually pretty good. So I think has a lot of applications in the meta. So those are the hybrids, and then of course the 1 copy of the Jet Sylphimon. Still playing the 1 is really important, of course. You want to see this as many times as possible, so I'm maxing out on Zoe's, maxing out on TK's. Any way to search this as humanly possible, I think is really important. So the 1 Jet Sylphie, and then for the kind of replacement for Jet Sylphie is going to be 4 copies of Shakuamon. Now, he effectively does the same thing, but just much less efficient. First of all, he's not searchable since he's not a hybrid. We got 4 copies of just a regular level 5 here. But when Digivolving, you do get to recover 1 if your security stack is at 5 or fewer cards, so much more balanced than just Jet Sylphie recovering 1 in any situation. But you can pretty much always get this off. Like if you're at like 6 or more security, you're usually winning the game at that point, or you're in a really good position, so you can manage to hold these. Like it's totally fine. So the 4 copies of Shakua, the inherited, it also comes up if you evolve over it with a yellow level 6. Just being able to neg things by 3,000, that rookie control is really important. But yeah, so you're effectively playing 5 Jet Sylphies, but just Shakuamon costs 4 instead of 1. So really, really big discrepancy. But you do have ways to like gain back memory in this deck. So it sometimes is okay. Despite the fact that he does cost a lot. For level 6s, the 2 copies of Sakuyamon, really, really powerful against the meta this format. Being able to neg 3 security to your opponent's grandest stack, their Metal Garurumon stack, War Greymon stack. Basically, every deck that is trying to kill you in 1 turn has to deal with this first, and a lot of times that requires them to hard play like a Gaia Force or a Grandel Soul or something along those lines if they don't have any ways to out this immediately. And once they promote their stack, you can just out it with your Digimon, with your Rapid Mons, with your removal options, things like that. So Sakuyamon, really, really good against the meta right now. And then just one copy of Ophanimon Fall Down mode. You could play like Venusmon or something. I was even trying to play like Miko mode because I'm playing the Sakuyamons, but I don't think Miko mode is really that great now that Sunrise Buster is at 1. There's a lot less option cards you can kind of abuse because of that fact, but Ophanimon really good, recovers you 1, and then on deletion you get to just play back like another body, like a Rapid or a Hybrid or something, possibly going on up to like a level 5 from there. So really, really cool stuff, Ophanimon. And then just lastly, for the 7s, one copy of Susano. I still think Susano's really, really good. It doesn't come up too much unless you're playing like a grindy matchup like the Secon matchup, or maybe slower control decks like Blackwood Greymon, Examon, things like that. But still really, really powerful for killing things and applying pressure. And then just one copy of Death X. This is definitely not necessary, especially with the direction the meta is kind of heading in. So if you wanted to take this out, I still think it's good against certain decks, but if you wanted to take this out, I'd probably just like put in like another Ophanimon or something like that. You could even put in like maybe another Wyvern's Breath or any kind of removal card that could be good there. So that's going to do it for the Digimon. For the Tamers and Option cards, playing the aforementioned 4 copies of TK, I think the consistency is really important, and being able to guarantee yourself the 3 memory is definitely something you still want constantly. And then, of course, with the consistency, also playing the 4 copies of Zoe here, just to be able to grab your hybrids whenever you see them. This is a really good starter card. Both of these you really want to see first turn. So you've got these 8 plus these 6 rookies. So you got 14 really good, really strong turn 1 cards. Just being able to grab any of your hybrids, really, really important. And then the other yellow tamers, playing 2 copies of TK Kari. I still think TK Kari is really good. Having this early game is really, really broken. There's not... if your opponent hits this insecurity and you're already less than them, there's not too much they can do to kind of play around that if it's already on the board. And then being able to neg things 1,000 does come up as well. And then the other yellow tamer, playing 2 copies of TK Izzy. TK Izzy is really, really good, actually. I like that this kind of like basically whenever your opponent has a level 5 or higher Digimon, you'll gain a memory at the start of your main phase, and then if you have a level 5 or higher, you'll also gain one. So it punishes your opponent from playing the game if they're playing a 1-stack deck that doesn't immediately just kill you. So like Examon, or if they're playing any other deck like Melga that doesn't necessarily kill you in 1 turn, maybe takes 2 turns to kill. It just gives you a little bit of extra memory, and then also lets you suspend itself to neg 1,000 on one of your opponent's Digimon if you do evolve into a yellow or green Digimon, of course, but yellow is really what we're doing here. So I still think overall really solid card. This also gives you some flexibility if you guys wanted to tech in some Grandel Soul for removal. I've seen this a lot in Security Control, where they'll play this as like a green source to be able to play this card. I'm not playing it in this version of the list, but this is definitely something you could absolutely include. A really, really powerful removal card. Just being able to bottom deck things and not trigger like on deletions and stuff is really good. So that's kind of it for the yellow tamer lineup. And then for the other tamers, just playing the 4 copies of Kari. I still think Kari is really, really powerful. This serves 2 purposes. One, just as an interruption card, but also as a purple source for one of the craziest option cards in the game that I am playing in this list. So that's going to do it for the tamers, guys. And then for our option cards, playing the 3 copies of Chaos Degradation. You could probably play 4. I think 4 is probably fine, but I didn't want to... You basically, your only purple source is going to be this and like Ophanimon, I guess. But I kind of wanted to see Kari more so than I want to see the Chaos Egg. Really, really powerful, both the main effect and security effect. Just putting things on security stacks is pretty broken. There's not really any counterplay to that. There's not any protection effects against it as of yet. So really, really powerful stuff there. 2 copies of Wyvern's Breath. I like Wyvern's Breath because it lets you lets you out things like Death Exmon, things like Examon, versus this card, whatever this card is called. If you know how to pronounce this, please tell me. Anyways, this card's really good too. I definitely don't think it's incorrect. So again, if you wanted to include it, you could as well. It's dependent on the number of your security. So it's 3 or more effect is like kind of okay. It's worse Wyvern's Breath because it's minus 12. And then it's 3 or lower is really good because it's a Chaos deck effectively. And if you have 3 exactly, you can get both effects, but I don't think that comes up too much. You're really playing this for the fact that it's like another Chaos deck, but like I'm already playing Chaos deck, so I mean if you wanted to play more you could. But anyways guys, I think it's not extremely necessary. I like Wyvern's Breath a lot, so I'm going to be playing that. But definitely up for debate. 1 copy of Sunrise Buster, still gotta play it, still super broken. And then the other one of, there's a lot of 1-0s, there's a lot of broken 1-0s in this deck. Gonna be playing the 1 copy of the Reinforcing Memory Boost to round off the deck. So guys, that is gonna do it for the yellow hybrid deck. There's not really any combos or anything. I mean, I'm sure the deck is well established enough at this point where you guys don't really need me to kind of go over that stuff. But anyways guys, that's gonna do it for this profile. Let me know down in the comment section below what you think of yellow hybrid. That's gonna do it for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.